Earlier this year, we put out a video on the predatory world of retro reselling that was actually pretty sympathetic towards resellers. We talked about how people get roped into reselling, thinking it's easy money. It's not. A lot of time, money, and above all luck is required to make it anyway profitable. If that's what's important to you while you're doing it, prepare to be disappointed. Same goes for collectors. I find most trips to the thrifts these days end in disappointment. There's nothing there, and what is there isn't very good, and it's expensive, and yet we keep going. Obsession and compulsion fuel collecting, and these two things are ripe for exploiting. That's what we're going to be talking about today on the Videocast, Exploitation and Collectible Hobbies. We'll be seeing some of the different ways our impulses are appealed to, how we justify collecting, and why, overall, interest in collecting is on the decline. As always, I'm your host Brian, and this video is being produced to promote my book, The Nostalgia Economy, which is all about collecting and the cost of memories, interpersonal relationships within collectible hobbies. Digital copies are available over at patreon.com/pixandportraits. Patrons make this content possible. $5 gets you access to my book and dozens of other videos. We also have physical copies, t-shirts, like, comment, share, hype. It all helps, so please consider supporting us any way that you can. Now, most of what we look at here is through the lens of nostalgia, and this video is going to be heavy on that. Before we start, I'd like to acknowledge that I am a collector. I identify with many things I will be critical of in this video. I'm not here to shame anybody or myself, but there is a lot about collecting that is exploitive, like FOMO, the fear of missing out. Outside of your interest in whatever the thing is, this is probably the biggest motivating factor in collecting. Get it before it's gone. There are only so many available, only so many being made, manufactured scarcity. Some companies run lotteries for their products. Those who collect sneakers are very familiar with these. Anytime there is a new drop, get in line and hope for the best. There is overlap with gambling impulses in collecting, that dopamine hit when you get them. It never lasts. I find with collecting, the more I spend, the more I want to spend. I'm sure some of you identify with this. You build yourself up to get whatever it is. It's a lot of money, but you want it. You've wanted it for a long time. The money is hopefully there. And so you pull the trigger and buy it and get that weird, woozy kind of drunk feeling. There are a few different things that can happen next. Ideally, the feeling passes and you feel good or satisfied with your purchase. You use it or put it on your shelf, and every time you see it, it brings you joy, you smile. However, it's not always like that. Buyer's remorse is rampant in collectible hobbies. Why the hell did I spend $400 on that? I didn't get a good deal, my buddy got it for less, some random YouTuber just found it for free, I'm a sap, I overpaid, I don't need it. Coming back to reality, could I really afford that? Do I even like this? My partner is going to kill me. That one is the worst. I'm very lucky. I've never gone too crazy, and my partners have always been very understanding. I've never been made to feel that way, but collecting does affect our loved ones, especially financially. So sometimes with FOMO, it really doesn't matter if you get it or not. You end up disappointed either way. A lot of this has to do with what we've already talked about, commodification. This is definitely relevant with retro items. Nostalgia is a commodity and people want in. Not everyone kept these items from their past or were alive or interested when you could still find them cheap in thrift stores or yard sales. The buy-in costs are higher, the constant feeling of catching up or not falling behind more. In short, they missed out, more disappointment. This disappointment or fear is exploited by manufacturers, publishers, and resellers. They know how we feel and will do as much as they can to make us feel it even more. So we buy, and we do buy. Same with our obsessive compulsiveness. This video is being produced deep into spooky season, and one of the hottest collectible markets is boutique video labels, many of which specialize in horror. Vinegar Syndrome is probably the best known one. We've talked about them before. Some amazing DVD and Blu-ray sets, mostly for forgotten or obscure horror movies. Very cool. I support their store in Toronto whenever I can. These boutique labels know what collectors want. They know what makes them tick. Slipcover editions that are considerably more expensive than the standard editions and limited. They have sales with spending perks, something like buy $1,500 worth of stuff outside of your $1,200 annual subscription and get the exclusive item, something else at $3,000. Say things are going out of print, drive up FOMO, sell out, and a few months later, oh, we actually found some more after you already panic bought. Again, great product, but man, did they ever fleece their fans. Collecting is a luxury. It's expensive, and lately we've been seeing a bit of a decline in collectible hobbies. Interest in many exploded during the pandemic. People were scared, they were at home, had money to spare, the period they were living through was terrible, and so they went back. Markets exploded, most notably video games, which was the most relevant to me. I've documented my own history here collecting, but games have always been my thing. A ton of people got into or back into games, trading cards, comics, though that has always been a pretty strong market. And what we're seeing now is a few things. People got priced out of the thing that they really wanted to collect, say video games, but still have the compulsion to collect, so they seek out things adjacent to that thing, their interest related to their own experience, and doing so, price people then out of that niche. For example, VHS, which we mentioned in a recent video, people are really pushing for this market to take off like video games did. Obviously, some tapes are worth a lot of money. Horror, that's what that video was about. But I've seen people try to sell common tapes like Batman, Jurassic Park, some of the best-selling movies on the format at high values, which I think is nuts. Paying for novelty, banking on nostalgia. CDs, another format that not very long ago was super cheap to collect, is seeing increased interest among collectors. This makes a little more sense to me, especially with how pricey streaming is getting. CDs sound better, ownership, liner notes, novelty, but CDs used to cost $1. Now they're $4 at the big box thrifts. VHS tapes, once a quarter, going for $1 or more now, and this is why, overall, interest in collectible hobbies is dying. It is very expensive to be alive. People can barely afford food and shelter, they don't have money to spend on things like video games or magic cards, regardless of how much joy those things might bring to their lives. Many of those who collected during the pandemic are now selling off their collections, bills need to get paid, they have no time to enjoy them, they are too busy working, they bought high and are trying to sell in a market that's considerably cooled off. Yes, some things will hold their value or appreciate, but a lot of people paid an extremely inflated value. Money will be lost, things will be sold knowing that this is probably it will be too expensive to ever buy again. In terms of retro, corporate greed and awareness has taken the wind out of a lot of collectors' sales. It's also kneecapped many would-be resellers. The world is also getting a lot smaller, or bigger. It's not as easy or affordable to ship things between certain countries. Collecting is very expensive, but of course there are still people who will capitalize and exploit the demand, people who have money, who will be there when the collections are purged, scooping everything up to sit on until the next boom period, whenever that will be, or people that are hooked, who need their fix and will continue to collect regardless of cost. They will go without food, live with loved ones, or most likely rack up a ton of debt to keep their habit going. Who needs to eat when you have a slipcover limited to 1,000, or a misprint variant, or some JRPG that didn't sell well, isn't very good, but is highly coveted amongst a very small group of people? Anyway, those are some of my thoughts. Let me know what you think. Have your collecting habits changed over the last couple of years? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share, and again, if you had the means, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Read The Nostalgia Economy. As always, thank you so much for your interest in this channel, and thanks for watching. See you in the future.